I did something with Aquaman, actually two things with Aquaman I don't ordinarily do. Firstly, I saw it a second time at the movies. Secondly, the second time I saw it in 3D. I rarely, if ever, want to see a movie in 3D because let's be honest, this 3D crap is a ripoff. Usually it's a post-production conversion job. They're just trying to milk money. It's a cash grab. You know, it's like, let's get people to pay an extra $4 to see a movie where we've added depth, where it's really not needed. Aquaman is that exception. It actually benefits from the 3D. Seeing it with that actually enhances the experience. It's really amazing. I wish it had been showing in IMAX 3D at a convenient time at this other theater near us, but it wasn't, so I had to settle for regular 3D, but it was still a worthwhile experience.
Mm-hmm. It does sound like it too, and still one of the typed rank as well too. And of course, let's try to find one of the worst as well too. You gave this one star out of the 4. Who gets the house? So do you want to bother talking about it at extent, or just be very brief about it?
Who gets the house? Oh God, I still can't believe I rewatched that on YouTube. Let me just see. I'll put it like this. Those of us of a certain age will remember there was a time when you'd come home from school and HBO would be showing all these garbagey family or kiddie movies like Hockey Night or Kidco or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Who Gets the House is roughly like that. Cheap production values, terrible acting, unbelievably bad dialogue, sappy, yeah, read the article. I'm not going to take up a lot of time just explaining the backstory to Who Gets the House. That is, the circumstances under which I saw it, the circumstances under which it had a test release. Read my review. That'll explain everything. But the short version is, it's still a bad movie.
And, of course, many of us will get to it later as well, too, and see how bad it is. And, of course, here's another one, too, that there's been some controversy where people have copycat this movie and have gotten into accidents, and some made some references. I'd rather be doing this than watching Bird Box. And you gave this 3 out of 4, and tell us a little bit about that and why the trend that people are copying off of Bird Box.
All right, well, let me answer that second part first. It's a very simple answer. People are idiots. That's my answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
When I first heard about that, I couldn't believe it, but at the same time I wasn't exactly surprised, because we're talking about a generation here who makes like a spectacle out of eating Tide Pods. That was actually a thing for a while, eating Tide Pods.
I remember that.
I'll bet they were keeping poison control very busy.
They probably had to hire, too, and maybe get government funding despite the shutdown.
I mean, I hate to sound arrogant, but for the most, I look at things like this and I think, how the hell stupid are we? You know that movie that came out about 10 or so years ago, Idiocracy?
I remember that, yes.
We're becoming that.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad. Mike Judge called it. We are becoming that society where each generation is dumber than the last. And that's my explanation of why they're trying this thing from Bird Box, going around blindfolded. Now, as for the movie itself, well, honestly, I was reluctant to watch it because end-of-the-world scenarios kind of get to me. All these years later, I still have awful thoughts about that movie, The Road, starring Viggo Mortensen. I mean, that movie was just horrific and disturbing. Bird Box I didn't find as disturbing. I think it didn't take such a serious approach to the material. It was more sci-fi-ish. If I had to compare it to anything, it would be that Stephen King movie, The Mist.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting. I don't think it was fantastic. I don't think it was terrible. It was an interesting idea, and I like the fact that they leave this horrifying thing that makes people blind. They leave it to your imagination. They never ever show this entity or whatever it is. So leaving something to the imagination That's an old school trick, because your imagination, what you can conceive in your imagination, is frequently worse than something that they can show you on screen. It can be scarier. So, good job there, guys.
Yes, very good indeed, too. And, of course, that's something to catch and review, too. Also, you have under the best and worst of 2018. This, what I noticed, I remember seeing this in Southern Illinois, and I think those back in 1985 or 1986. And I remember this is one of the funniest movies, and I see down here that you have it as one of the best and worst of 2018, but you gave it 3 stars out of 4, and this is still hilarious. The Gods Must Be Crazy. So, tell us all about that for those who haven't seen it, and why was it in the best of worst of 2018, although it came out in 1986.
Actually, that wasn't on the list. That was a separate review.
Oh, it was? Okay, I see now.
That's a separate review. I recently rewatched The Gods Must Be Crazy. I haven't seen it for maybe 30 years. I happened across a copy. So one night the wife and we had some downtime. There wasn't much on TV, so I thought, all right, I'll put this on. I ended up enjoying it. It ended up being better than I remembered it was. It's kind of like National Geographic meets the Three Stooges. Excuse me there. It's a goofy little piece about this tribe in Africa, these Bushmen. Or not Africa, Australia, South Africa. Oh, I'm getting mixed up here. Okay, Bushmen in South Africa, a really primitive tribe. They have kind of an idyllic situation. They all get along. They share property. They don't know anything about crime, money, or violence. Well, one day a pilot drops a Coke bottle out of his plane window, and it lands, near these Bushmen, and they think it's a gift from the gods. I mean, you can do all sorts of things with this. It's the hardest substance they've ever seen. So it's like they can use it for a tool, they can use it for a musical instrument, this, that, and the other thing. But what it really does, it breeds jealousy, envy, and anger into this once peaceful tribe. So the elders decide that this one Bushman should walk to the edge of the earth and return it to the gods. So mainly the movie is about his journey and the wacky people he encounters. The clumsy biologist, the new school teacher, this totally incompetent revolutionary. And it's pretty madcap. I think a lot of people are put off by the dubbing. Instead of giving English subtitles to the Afrikaans language, they dubbed it into English. And when it comes to the scenes of the Bushmen, now they speak in a language that consists of a lot of clicks. They just have a voiceover narrator telling them what they're saying and what they're thinking. So they really did a good job with that movie. I can see why it played at my local art house theater for a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can imagine, too, and I can imagine the Bushmen trying to say, have a Coke and a smile, but how would they say it in the African language? We really don't know, so that's another good one, too. So, and before we get to some of your funny stories as well, too, you're listening to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. Also, check the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can click, like, invite, share the page with all your family and friends, and feel free to listen to the interviews, and also download and listen, take wherever you go, on SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. We're here with Movieguy247.com expert George Rother, talking about the latest in movies and some of the best and worst of 2018, and we also covered a little bit on how you got started. But one of the real reasons is that you have some really funny stories about what happened at the movies, just like a funny thing happened on the way to the forum, or, funny thing, somebody drops a $20 bill, and you've got some great stories to share here on the Mike Wagner Show. So just love to hear, especially from your movie reviewing experience.
Okay, well, the story that I love to share about funny incidents at the movies is what I call the Halloween 5 story. Obviously, I was seeing Halloween 5. Now, to preface this, When I showed up at the theater to get my ticket, it was for a 9 o'clock show, and the box office person told me they were sold out. So since I didn't really see a lot of people inside the theater, I asked to speak with the manager. I happen to know this particular manager. So he came out, and, he's like, well, George, I think we have a seat for you. And I'm like, well, what's going on? He's like, well, George, the previous show at 7 o'clock, it was sold out, and the place was out of control. So we decided for this show we're going to fill the theater halfway and leave it at that because we can't handle that again. So I was lucky to get in. It should have also been a sign of what to expect. People started filing in, and in walks this African-American couple. You could tell by looking at him that he had had a few before the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And, the movie started, and let's just say he's not the quiet moviegoer.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of vocal about some of his opinions, and he was offering helpful advice to the characters, not even realizing that they might not hear him.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this point in the movie where a girl, she walks into a dark barn looking for her boyfriend. Now, why these people always do this in horror movies is beyond me. That's got to be the stupidest thing to do. There's a killer running around. Let's go into a dark place where he could at any moment jump out and kill me. Well, he's yelling at her, don't go in there. She goes in, get out of there, get out of there, get out of there. He's yelling this. So Michael Myers gets her. And then this guy says, and I quote, these are his words,
mm-hmm.
not mine.
Right.
Damn, white people is stupid. The theater lost it. I must have been laughing for a good 5 minutes over that. That was just class.
I think that was a case of perfect timing, and of course, the views and expressed are those of the guest and not me itself for the Mike Wagner Show. It's whatever he said, and not you as well, too. I mean, I kind of miss moments having those as well, too. It's just like when I was in a movie and watching Little Shop of Horrors, it was the original one. What was it, 1960, with Jack Nicholson making his debut? Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, and I remember watching this. It was part of a World's Worst Film Fest, and if you watch the whole thing without leaving, you get your money back. Well, good luck to that. And I remember there was a scene there where it kept saying, feed me, feed me. And then they'll say, feed me. That was like everybody imitated. Then they aired the day they saved Hitler's brain, and it was just, God knows what it's about. I don't want to talk about that. Maybe if you want to, that's fine, but me, I'd rather pass on that. And there was a scene where, she says, oh, what do we do? And I yell, feed me! And the whole audience just absolutely they lost it. I mean, you're permitted to just say stuff, throw things, and everything like that. But I think what I said just timed out what they did was so funny. I think somehow we need that back in movies. Except for texting.
Oh, yeah, we do. Let's just say I've had a few occasions where I've made a loud comment at the movies, and it's gotten laughs. When I went to see the Sylvester Stallone version of Judge Dredd in '95, there's a scene where Max von Sydow's character shows up to help him, and he's wearing this robe, like a Jedi robe,
mm-hmm.
and I just instinctively said, Obi-Wan! And everybody lost it.
Use the Force!
I mean, I enjoyed that movie, but yeah, there's no question about it. Judge Dredd, Sylvester Stallone, it's a bad movie, but it's a fun bad movie. It's really cool. But yeah, in fact, I went to see that at the movies a second time. I did the same exact thing, and that audience laughed too.
I think you need someone to sit in there and just yell that line every single time, and hopefully get more people in to watch the movie, get word out, and maybe they'll boost ticket sales or something.
I don't think people are going to plunk down whatever the price of an adult ticket was for one callback line through a whole movie, but I get what you're saying. But I have funny stories about the movies, but some of them are funny in the sense that they're ironic. Now, there used to be this theater near me, and it was located in a neighborhood that wasn't exactly a nice neighborhood. So going to that theater could be rough.